But everything that women accuse men of doing, the women do too. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nicholas Pythagoras, and on this YouTube channel, we ask the question, how does the truth manifest itself in the real world? Or how do human values manifest themselves in the real world? And on this YouTube channel, we talk about phenomenology, human consciousness, philosophy, existentialism, yada, yada, yada. So I hope to add an interesting take, an interesting spin on everyone. It seems like everyone nowadays is a dating coach. But I'm coming at it from a phenomenological, like a phenomenologist perspective. And so this is, as the title suggests, I created a fake account and I catfished a bunch of girls and a bunch of guys, and I'm going to relate it to phenomenology and how each person's, or each, I would say each gender's, well, there's two genders, how their gender, how their consciousness manifests in the real world and how that affects the dating world, particularly in the United States. And again, relating it to a phenomenological perspective. Okay, so, and when I am talking about these results, just before I get into it, I want to say that it's not, bear in mind that I'm relating it to both sides of the aisles. But I'm mainly focusing on girls because I already know the guy experience because I'm a guy. But I am focusing on the girls, but these results apply to both sides of the aisle. So the first thing I want to talk about is that both sides of the aisle, both genders, prioritize the short term. In particular, the guys, it manifests in the guys by the guys prioritizing looks in the short term. And they just want themselves to feel good. They want specific body parts, you know what I'm saying? They want specific body parts to feel good in themselves. And the girls particularly want to feel good emotionally. They want to feel validated. And so in particular, these dating apps serve a very short-term purpose. Although I will say this, it is how the people use the dating apps that are the problem, not necessarily the dating apps themselves. Because theoretically, the good of the dating apps is that it connects us, okay? It is meant to connect us, to find matches, to foster this healthy community. But what's wrong is the way we use the dating apps. Girls use it to feel validated. They want to feel a sense of self-worth. They want to believe that people like them. And so when they look at their matches, or when they look at their swipes, they see that they have like 300, 400, like thousands of people that actually swipe right on them. And this gives them that short-term sense of validation, that short-term prioritization of feelings and emotion, and like, wow, someone actually likes me. But in terms of guys, what guys are looking for in the short term, and I'm not saying that everyone does this, but the majority of people do this. And of course, are there good people who actually like use it like honestly and want to find a genuine like long-term relationship? Of course. But in terms of the majority, they're looking at it for the short-term benefits. And so guys, they chase after looks. They chase after wanting to make sure their thing feels good. And so people, especially in the United States, I would say the United States is the worst in particular on this. We prioritize the short term. And so we are curtailing these apps to satisfy our short-term desires. And that's how our consciousness is applying itself in the real world. The second point is traumatization. And so there are a lot of girls who are messed up out there. And again, remember, this applies to both sides of the aisle. And particularly, I'm talking about daddy issues and mommy issues. Okay, so there's a lot of, or it could be like, yeah, not necessarily just the father or the mother, but the maybe a terrible ex who emotionally or physically or verbally abused them. And so there's a lot of messed up people out there who are traumatized. And the unhealthy nature of this is that in traumatization, you are actually objectifying the other person. You are dehumanizing them. And so it is whether intentional or not, you are dehumanizing the other person. You are lacking empathy towards the other person. But I had a greater point to that, in the sense that traumatization, people victimize themselves in a sense. They say, well, I'm a victim, therefore I can make you a victim. And that's really not how it works. It's not, well, you're victimized, therefore you can victimize me. No. Um, it does make it harder, but you are not supposed to you are not supposed to victimize someone else. You're supposed to love one another as Jesus has loved us. Okay? So, and that's the truth. So, the traumatization, another aspect to this is that girls, and I'm not saying, of course, I'm not saying everyone does this, but sometimes girls victimize someone else and they say, well, I'm just traumatized. It's like, again, I'm lacking this accountability, and I am just blatantly, I'm blaming it on my traumatization. So it's not actually my fault, it's my trauma's fault. And again, that's not how it works. But again, there's a lot of messed up people out there who have a very rough past. And again, I find this very, like, just particularly more specific to the United States. And again, that's what we're focusing on. And the third and the last point that I want to talk about, and this relates back to the other points, is the lack of accountability in general. So the thing that I say is that this applies to both sides of the aisle, and it really does. But everything that women accuse men of doing, the men do, the women do too. Like all the problems that the women say that men do, the women do too. So that's essentially what I mean, if that makes sense. So, women are saying like, oh, like there's like guys don't want like accountability and stuff. They want the short-term gain without the long-term like commitment, without the accountability. But women do this too. And this manifests itself by all those, when they say that, well, women don't owe you anything. Like that, I will say this, like women don't owe you anything. It's, in a way it's true, but in a way it's also not true, because that's implying, well, it's not my responsibility to love you. And again, that's true in certain cases and not true in certain cases, because you're not going to love your friend the same way you love your mother, or you're not going to love your friend the same way you love your future daughter. Okay, that's not how it works. But it is your responsibility to love one another. Okay, it is your responsibility to love, and loving is very hard because it requires an act of the will. Love requires accountability. It requires commitment. And so it goes back to the first point where everyone is very into the short-term prioritization, the prioritization of the short term instead of the long term. And again, it is our responsibility to love one another. It is just very difficult. Now, what is love? Love isn't just a feeling. Love is an act of the will. It is a movement of the will. It is the will of the good unto the other. Okay, it is the will of the good unto the other. Now, some fantastic texts that you should read if you are questioning what love is read St. Thomas Aquinas. He has a lot of philosophical texts regarding Aristotle and what love is. And also read St. John Paul II's Theology of the Body. Okay, so those two books, okay, or well, I guess those two authors. So St. John Paul II, Theology of the Body, and St. Thomas Aquinas, his commentary on Aristotle and his commentary on what love is. And there's a lot of discussion because the topic of love has been debated and has been talked about and discussed for many a millennia. But it is our responsibility to love. It's just that people, and understandable, it is very hard to love because it requires a denial of oneself. It requires humility. It requires obedience. It requires so many things. It requires us to overcome ourselves and to become better. So it is very difficult to do, but yet it is our responsibility to do. So St. John Paul II, Theology of the Body, and St. Thomas Aquinas, his commentaries on Aristotle and what love is. Fantastic texts, phenomenal texts, and it is very worth checking out. Remember, love is an act of the will. It is not just a feeling, but it is an act of the will. It is the will of the good unto the other, okay? And particularly, I've found this to be, it's just everyone knows it at this point. The United States has been absolutely run down in the dating market. and I don't like the term dating market because it's not really a market, but in the dating world, in the dating scene, it's just really bad. But that seems to wrap up and conclude this video. If you guys enjoyed this, if you like my YouTube channel, if you like existential philosophy, phenomenology, talking about human consciousness, existentialism, how basically seeking the truth and how the truth and human values manifest themselves in the real world, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section below. And follow me on Instagram, nicholas.pythagoras. I'll have a link to it in the description below. DM me, and maybe we can continue this discussion somewhere else. But yeah, share this video, like the video. Again, if you like it, click the like button, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Take care, guys.